Good morning. Good morning. Let us get into a reading. And this is going to be a fun one. It's going to be about what are people admiring about you right now? What do people admire about you? Alright, got some Nagchampa. Nagchampa. So what do people admire about you right now in your life? Okay, your communication. Yeah, I was hearing right away that people admire your words. Okay, I'm hearing putting pen to paper, your writings. People admire the way that you speak and the way that you articulate your thoughts using words. People really admire this about you. Like, third house. I feel like people feel that you're very godly in nature. Like you have a godly nature. You have a divine sort of essence that people really are drawn to. Okay. And it comes out in your words. Like, okay, people see. You might have particular people who see you and they see who you are. And it's this godly person with a godly nature, and you move with this flow, okay, and this vibrancy. And then you put words to it. And all of a sudden, everything makes sense. Oh, that's why they do that. That's why they talk like that. That's why they move like that and why they're glowing like that, because of those words. See, your words became your reality. Your words are your world. Your thoughts and your words become who you are. And so you've become your words, and so your words are very highly admired. Aries. Okay. You also take initiative. You're not somebody who lets things go. You know, if nobody raises their hand in class, you are the one to shoot your hand up. If nobody's going to go do it, okay, fine, I'll go do it. That's you. You take initiative. And you speak up for yourself. You're free spoken. You don't care about what people think about you. Maybe you care what people think, just not about you. You want people to feel loved, but you don't care what they think about you. I feel like you're bold. You're quick to tell somebody you're quick to say what's on your mind, especially when it affects other people. And you're quick to stand up for others as well, I feel. Okay, we got Jupiter. So people also admire your expansive energy. Your body, your aura fills the room. And it's this leadership aura. It's like, not only can you stand up and glow and have this presence, but you got words to back it up. You have motivational words. You have inspiring words. Sometimes you might even scold other people, and they admire this in you. I feel like people actually admire the way that you call them out on their... You know, I feel like you call people out on not where... It's like you call them out where they are lacking and where they need to improve. And what you do, the words that you use, actually go ahead and inspire them to be better about who they are. Okay. So you're this leader. You know, your words are admirable. Your leadership skills are admirable. You taking the charge, taking the lead is admirable. People admire your patience too. You're very patient and you're willing to, yes, you speak up for yourself and you speak up for other people, but you also wait when it's time to wait. You know when it's time to interject, when it's time to speak up, but you also know when it's time to sit back and allow others to speak so that you can hear them out. And I feel like you use it very strategically, and people are noticing this. They're noticing when you pause and when you speak up. They're noticing when you interject and when you don't. And when you allow somebody to speak fully and when you don't. Okay? It's almost like people are admiring the way that you call out BS. But when you hear authenticity coming from somebody, you allow them to go ahead with it. And you hear them out. And you really do listen to them. You don't listen to them with an idea already predetermined about what you're going to say. No, you listen to them. You're patient. Okay? I feel like you're also a messenger, and people admire this about you. People admire the messages that you give, and the fact that you can give messages from a place of non-judgment, and also like not thinking about the message beforehand or while they're speaking or while the thing is going on. No, you sit in your heart center. And when the message comes, and there you are to meet it right where it's at and right where you're at and right where the room is at. It's almost like you are the glue, and people admire that. They admire that if there's ever a missing piece or part to the play that's being had or being played out, you fill in that gap. And people admire that about you. I feel like people also admire you for how rich you seem. Okay? How you could either be wealthy or you come off as wealth. You come off not just as wealthy or rich, but as abundant. It's like you're not going anywhere to ask people for stuff. It's almost like you go places to give. And people admire this. You're a giver. You didn't show up to the venue to take or to put your hand out and expect things to come to you. No, you came to the venue to be seen, to be heard, to be felt. And this is something that people admire because they're still working on, this could be specific people who are working on being confident enough in themselves to be heard and be seen and be felt at venues and in public. And so they sit back and they might watch you from a distance, not able to really do it themselves, but this is why they admire you. They admire your ability to just put yourself out there and give what's inside of you freely. I feel like people also admire your stillness. You know, there's this like silence to your mind. There's this silence to you. And it comes and it goes because even when you're talking, it's almost like your mind is silent. And that's that receiving messages and meeting them where they're at. Well, you're meeting your messages where they're at. People admire how even though you're talking, it seems as though your mind is silent. Okay? And they can't help but be attracted to that type of energy. Okay? And people think that you have a lot to share. Okay? People might even admire the fact that you have even more than you let out. Like, people can see this. People notice this. They notice that you aren't just everything that you're saying. You're so much more. I'm hearing that you're only like 20 or 25% of what you say and what you express. The rest is within you and is held within you. This Four of Coins card. Very abundant energy. One of the things that you're admired for most is your abundance. Just the sheer feeling of abundance that exudes from you. And that, part of the reason why that happens is because you have it within you. You're enthusiastic, you're excited, and you contain that excitement and enthusiastic to a degree. You let it out. You show the world who you are. You speak up when you need to speak up. But there's also this reservation and sort of maturity that you have within you. Just because you get excited doesn't mean that you're going to go out and tell the whole world you're going to go do something before you go and do it. I feel like you're the type of person who only speaks about things that you've already done. And this is very admirable. You're being admired for this. You have a lot of it feels like community behind you. And see, the reason why I'm saying it feels like is because even though you might be a one-man band, it feels like you have a whole circus behind you. It feels like you have a lot of support and supporters behind you. Even though you might be soloing it. You might be at the venue by yourself, or you don't know anybody there. You just showed up. But it just seems like you have so many friends. Okay? Abundance, I'm telling you. You're like this whale. Your heart center is very, very open. Okay. Magnetic. Your torus field around your body stretches out very far. And people can feel it as soon as you walk into the room, and maybe even before you get there. You're like a mile out. You're a mile out. You're just about to arrive, and people start feeling the energy. And then you walk in, and now it all makes sense. Now we know why we were feeling that way. Because you were almost here. You were coming. It's like when you anticipate such a good feeling, but they don't know. It's almost like you activate people's intuition. And all of a sudden they're feeling good. They're in the vortexual, abundant energy that you are. And then you get there, and that's why. But is that why? And then you start speaking, and yes, that's why. Yes, that's why. That's why we were feeling this way. That's why I was feeling this way. Okay, Ace of Pentacles in reverse. I feel people admire the fact that you don't hold on to wealth and abundance. These are all pentacles here. And then we have the card of abundance. So people definitely admire your abundance, but then we have the Ace of Pentacles in reverse. Maybe you're giving. You're very giving. You give it away. Six of Wands in reverse. Where you aren't being admired right now, I feel, is... See, people admire all of your abundance. People naturally think that you're abundant, and they naturally think that you have lots of wealth. Okay? There's some sort of real life, like you are wealthy, regardless of how much money is in your bank account. But I do feel like there is something coming in here, like a blessing here. Maybe a temporary blessing, but a blessing that makes you feel recognized for all of this abundance that you've been giving off. I feel like you might feel, yes, I'm abundant. So where is all of the money? Like, where is all of the abundance? Where is all of the manifestations? Because I do feel abundant, and I am abundant. And you might be getting manifestations. What is this Ace of Pentacles in reverse with this Six of Wands? It's like you're leading from behind in some sort of way. You have so many admirers. You have secret admirers. You have admirers from places that you don't even realize right now. And I feel like we're talking about all of this admiration in your life and in your experience. Well, you may not be seeing it right now, and that's okay, because very soon you will start to see it. Okay? And it's going to come in through an unexpected source. You might get a little bit of a boon or blessing that kicks you off to realizing, oh, I am abundant. Oh, it was there the whole time. That's sort of the energy I was getting. People also admire the fact that you have choices and options and that you explore them. People admire the fact that you take your time to make a decision and that you're willing to change your mind when you do make a decision. You're very mutable. You could be a mutable sign. Okay. Aries is, I feel like, a fixed sign, right? Aries is a fixed sign. Guarded and protected. People admire the time that you take to make decisions. And they see this as your guard, like they see this as you're guarded. Like you have standards. You're not willing to just comply or make a decision based on FOMO, fear of missing out. Like you're protected. Your decisions are protected. People admire the fact that you don't allow misunderstandings to permeate into your being. If there is a misunderstanding with somebody specific, you handle it very well, and you see it as just a temporary moment in your experience rather than something that needs to, like, you're very forgiving is what I'm hearing. People admire that you forgive others to a very high degree, okay? Because you know you're protected. You know that you're guarded. The Tower. Two of Cups in reverse. This might also signify that you have a cold cutoff game as well. You're very forgiving, but you also cut people off. So you understand that there might have just been a misunderstanding. But people also admire the fact that you forgive and then you move on. You set the standard, you cut it off, and then you're done. And you're very abrupt about the way that you do that. And I feel like this is secret admiration here. Because, secretly people like to be disciplined. Secretly people like to have structure. Now, if you were to ask them, do you like to have structure outrightly? Do you like to be disciplined outrightly? Oftentimes, a child will say no. But when you look back on your life and you look back on your childhood as an adult, you're like, well, I actually appreciate the fact that that teacher disciplined me in that moment. I appreciate the fact that my father or mother had disciplined me. And so even though people's egos might not necessarily enjoy the discipline that you give out with this Jupiter, Aries, third house, this spoken discipline that you speak, in the moment, they actually really strongly admire it later on. And they wish that I think you're becoming more aware of how people admire this and how much it matters to people that they are disciplined and I don't mean overbearing amounts of discipline. I just mean nipping things in the bud and disciplining them by cutting them off out of your life, not by telling them what to do or how they should do things, but by cutting them off of your energy. This is how you discipline people. Okay? You are more aware than people think. Okay? I feel like people are beginning to realize this about you based on these things that you've told them in the past. Like, maybe it takes a couple months even for people to realize what you were saying at that venue or during that interaction that they had with you. But what they realize is that what you spoke was complete abundance. What you spoke was completeness. It came from a place of wisdom. And so, I feel like people are admiring you from way back in the past who didn't listen to you at the time, but are now now reflecting on what you told them, and it's they're saying within themselves, "Oh my goodness, this person was right." Like, not in a egoic way, like you were right, but more so like the wisdom that you shared with them was correct, and if they had followed it, they might be in a different place than they are right now. Okay. projections, they're making a villain out of you. Yeah, I feel like right away, sometimes when you give people, because you do speak up, Aries third house, and you are expansive, and you do teach things through your words, and right away, immediately, it can seem like very villainous. Like, I'm cutting you off. Goodbye. Hey, this is something that I want to make you aware of. You tell people what's going on, and I feel like at the beginning, when you share the truth with others, it's very hard. They make you the villain. It's hard for them to take it. It's hard for their egos to stand you. 808 might be significant, which adds up to 16, which is the Tower card in the tarot. Here's the Tower. You come in like a tower, and even though in the moment the Tower seems terrible, it's something that is a blessing, and that's you. And so it might take 4, 5, 6 months. It might take longer, years even for some, to realize that what you were saying, the Tower moment that you shared with them, was what you needed to hear at the time, or what they needed to hear at the time. Okay? It can be like that. And so your role in this world is sort of, it's lonely at the top, I'm feeling. Excuse me. Sense of humor. People definitely admire your sense of humor, though. I feel like even though you get real strict and real serious sometimes, and you're the Tower moment, you also have your moments of humor. And I feel like this is one of the ways that you soften the blow of who you are, because you know who you are, and you know that the truth is so, it can be overbearing, it can be Tower-ish, And so I feel like you also have a very strong sense of humor. You've been through a lot of pain, okay? And that pain shows its face not in your own distortions, but in your own sense of humor. You laugh about it, and you laugh about things like being a Tower moment for other people now. And you laugh off their projections, and you laugh off their things that they, their own distortions within themselves. And it could seem, like you're making fun of them at the time, but months down the road, they start seeing the humor in it and realizing, oh my goodness, they were making a joke, because it is funny. It is funny that I was doing all that. Decide to be happy now. Yeah, I feel like you've been through a lot of pain, but people can see that, and they admire the fact that you don't sit in that. You are a Tower, but you don't sit there. You do discipline, but you don't sit there in the discipline. You execute it when it needs to be executed, and then you're back on to having fun. Back on to being this selfish version of yourself, serving you first. And your connection to God, and your connection to the world and the universe. Okay? God is in charge. People really admire, and we talked about this at the beginning, but people really admire your connection to Source. Through the Tower moments, okay, through your sense of humor, through the natural abundance that you exude, and the words that permeate their being. They may not feel it right away, and I do feel like you're sort of a slow burner in people's minds. It takes them a minute to admire you. It takes them a while to figure out, oh, wow, this person's, whoa. Because everything starts to click for them, the sense of humor, the Tower moments that you shared with them, the way that you're guarded and protected, the patience that you display, the abundance, it all starts to click for people. And they realize, well, how is that possible? With Sab Ishwar Hai. It's all God. And I feel like this is a very admirable trait within you. How you give it all to God as often as you can. Okay? Feeding the mind, the body, and the spirit. Fruits. People can see your fruits, guys. People admire that, because you wouldn't have the fruits that you have in the mind. Patience, the gentleness, the kindness, the compassion in the body, the physical health, the glow on your body, the spirit, that fire within you, that fire behind your eyes. How would you have that if you weren't connected? And so people can see the fruits and they admire the fruits inside of you. Okay? What else do they admire in you? Let's get into the tea. Don't be tempted to you don't lower your standards. You're not somebody who lowers their standards. Again, you've been through enough pain. I've heard that many times, but from Spirit here. And you're just not tempted. Like you're a tower. If somebody comes in with a lower standard, you are a tower. You come in like a force to be reckoned with. Let me tell you something. And that's just how it is, Heartache over what you no longer have, family sorrow. People can see, look at this. People can see that you've been through quite a bit. You've had your share of pain, and they admire the fact that you're doing what you're doing, even though they can see that you're in pain and that pain does not have to be suffering. And I think this is something that you've made a distinction about. And to actually allow yourself to have a bad feeling feels good. To allow yourself to feel the crying or the sorrow, that allowing feels good. And if you can sit with that good feeling of, oh, I'm letting this out, this is feeling good, this is what people admire in you. You don't judge yourself and you don't judge your feelings. You use them for your betterment and for your connection to God. More and more, everything that you do, okay? Good advice from a wise person. People just admire your advice. They admire your intuition. They admire your foresight. They may not admire it right away, though, guys. But you do have others who do admire it right away and who can tell that everything that you're saying is spot on for them. Okay? Let's see what else we got going on. I feel like you just know how to make decisions, okay? But see that there's a nuance to that. Two of Swords in reverse. I feel like people admire how you're not so quick to make a decision. It's okay. Like, people admire the fact that you give them permission to sit with their uncertainty, because you, being a leader, being how connected you are to God, glowing the way that you do, you allow yourself to sit with uncertainty, with that uncomfortable energy of, I'm not sure what to do here. And I feel like you're not afraid to say that out loud and to speak that. Well, I don't know what to do. I'm figuring it out. I'm learning how to be a human being. I'm learning how to live in this world. I feel like people admire that and are given permission from you by you saying those things out loud and being in that energy. 808, guys. 808 might be really significant. The world. Yeah, this ability of yours to sit in uncertainty. Like, it's almost like people see you as a destined person. Like, you're destined for greatness. You're protected by God. People admire your wisdom. Like, again, with the wisdom. Lots of wisdom. The owl might be significant. People definitely see you shine. And they admire the fact that you allow yourself to shine. And they're given permission by you to shine. Okay? And I'm like, I don't think that you fake it. Like, you're not, like, your shining doesn't come from a place of, oh, I knew what to do. It comes from a place of, you didn't know what to do. You were just experimenting. You were trying things out, and something, you sat in uncertainty. You got into the art of allowing, and then something all of a sudden worked out for you. That's what I'm getting. Okay? The world. The penultimate card to see in a reading. Blessings, luck, okay, abundance, all of it. Okay, that's going to be it for this one today, this morning. Hope you have a wonderful day. Okay. And, yes, that is where I'm going to leave it. Namaste. Bye bye.